Have a seat with me, everybody. Today we're going to learn about a very special person named King David. King David. Come in closer. You're going to have to be able to see the book. Okay. Come in closer. All right. Here we go. First of all, this picture. It's a little boy with a what? A sheep. We've seen a lot of these lately in this book, haven't we? Well, that's David. So let's hear about his story. And just so you know, in church all summer long, we're going to hear about King David. And my sermon today will be the first of a series of sermons on King David. So you get the first sermon, okay? As one of God's prophets or messengers, Samuel, he was an older man, he was a prophet, kept on listening to God and telling people what God said. One day God told him, "Go to the little town of Bethlehem. You'll find a man there named Jesse. One of his sons will be my new choice for Israel's king. I will tell you which one when you meet them." One by one, Jesse brought his sons to Samuel. The first was handsome. The next looked strong. Surely one of these will be a king, Samuel thought. But God said, "No. Looks do not matter to me. I see what is in a person's heart." So it's on the inside, right? Not what's on the outside that matters to God. Jesse brought 5 more sons to Samuel, and God said, "No, no, 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 and no." "Is that all of them?" Samuel asked. "Well, David, my youngest and smallest boy, is watching the sheep," Jesse said. You see, he was so young that he wasn't even allowed to be part of the procession of brothers. He was off somewhere minding the sheep. Samuel asked to meet him. In spite of his size, David was bright-eyed, handsome, and strong. "He is the one," God said. Many years later, another king would come from Bethlehem. He would be from David's family line. He is the King of all kings, Jesus Christ. Now, the adults are going to hear the same story this morning, but there's one line that this book I just read you doesn't cover. This is from the actual Bible that I'm about to read you. It says, "Then Samuel, after he saw King David, took the horn of oil," like this, a ram's horn. Want to pass that around? Start with yours. That's a ram's horn. So he took the horn of oil and anointed him in the presence of his brothers. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon David from that day forward. So, and this is holy oil. I'm going to let you look at that too. Don't unscrew the cap, just pass it around. So Samuel put oil like this and a ram's horn like that, and then poured it all over David's head. Not just a little bit. Today we have a baptism. I'm going to put just a little bit of oil upon a little one's forehead. This was different. When a king was anointed, they poured a whole bunch of oil on them and would run down their face, just so everybody noticed that they were special and that they were touched by the Holy Spirit. Okay, so there's another story about David we'll quickly read because this will be next Sunday school. I'll bet you know this story, just from looking at the picture. David and Goliath. Goliath the giant. You see, once David was anointed with oil, with the ram's horn, and the Spirit of God was upon him, he was up for all kinds of battles. And his biggest and first battle was with Goliath. Remember the bad Philistines? Well, they wanted to fight the Israelites again. But they had a giant soldier, really a giant. His name was Goliath. He was more than 9 feet tall and wore a helmet and a coat of armor. He carried a huge spear. Every day, Goliath shouted at God's people, "Come on, fight with me." And Goliath yelled terrible things about God. The Israelite soldiers were terrified of him. Even their king Saul felt afraid. So God sent help, the young shepherd David. Remember how I said David was a king? It would take him 12 years to actually become the king, because the person who was king didn't know that another king named David had been anointed yet. So David had to prove himself. "I'm not scared," David said. "Let me at him. God is on our side." David wore no armor. He carried only a slingshot and a bag of stones, and he marched right up to Goliath. "What's up, little guy?" the giant said. David shouted back, "You may come with big weapons to fight us, but I come in the name of the Lord." David put a stone in his slingshot, aimed it at Goliath's head, and fired. Ouch! Thud! Goliath fell to the ground. The Philistines ran away with the Israelite army chasing them. God had rescued his people again, but this time through David, a slingshot and a stone. See, in the Bible, David says, "I fought off lions and bears. I can handle a giant." Because to be a shepherd was actually a very dangerous job. And so you'll learn more about this throughout the summer as we look at King David. Now, I've got an idea. Where's that ram's horn? Oh, here it is. Okay. The ram's horn wasn't just used to anoint people with oil, it was also used as a trumpet to declare war. So when David went out to fight Goliath, it's likely that something like this was blown like a trumpet. Now, I know somebody who can probably do this really well. Patrick. Marissa, how about if you give that to Patrick back there? He's right there. He's right behind you. All right, let's let the whole congregation stand for this. No pressure, Patrick. Okay. Round of applause. That was a form of God's blessing over you. So now you go off to Sunday school for our summer Sunday school program. We'll continue with our praise music. Please remain standing.